If you would all rise for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. Mrs. Higgins, would you do a roll call, please?
Sure. Mayor Dietman.
Here.
President Percival.
Here.
Vice President Bull.
Here.
Councilman Capabianco.
Here.
Councilman Long.
Here.
Councilman Swigert.
Here.
Councilman Sidlow.
Here.
Councilwoman Guy.
Here.
Solicitor Wills.
Here.
Engineer Catania.
Here.
Mr. Passanti.
Here.
Chief Murray.
Here.
You do have a quorum.
And Mr. Powers will be excused this evening. He's taking his daughter to the hospital because of an injury. Assuming council's had a minute to read the minutes of the previous meeting, what's your pleasure, please?
Make a motion to pass last month's minutes.
Second that.
Any questions on the motion?
Yes, I would like to say that at the previous meeting, I did not get to make a statement that I had prepared, and that when I requested that that statement be entered into the minutes, it was denied by the Borough Council President. You know, she's doing everything she can to keep me from speaking and saying what I have to say about the situation that occurred last month. And I have decided it's not worth the argument to fight to get it into the record, but I want to note that what I tried to express has been denied the opportunity 2 times now.
And I have said to you, Mr. Sidlow, in writing, and I have a copy of it, that you were more than welcome to enter it into the record. You did not read the entire statement. And
Again, I was not given the opportunity to read the statement because of the poor way in which you managed the meeting and bullied the situation. So that's all there is to it. I have nothing further to say about this matter.
Well, I thank you for the criticism. And
It's well deserved.
I did say to you that you were more than welcome to add it. And if you wanted to add the entire statement, I would be happy to supply documents to go with last month's meeting minutes on my statement. I have not heard back if you wanted that also. Are there any other questions concerning the minutes of the previous meeting? All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
All those opposed?
Aye.
Did I hear a nay?
Yes.
Mrs. Higgins, would you do a roll call vote?
I sure will.
Approval of the minutes of March 24th.
Okay. Mayor Dietman does not vote. President Percival.
Aye.
Vice President Bull.
Aye.
Councilman Capabianco.
Aye.
Councilman Sidlow.
Nay.
Councilman Long.
Aye.
Councilwoman Guy.
Nay.
And who did I miss?
Perry.
Perry, Councilman Perry.
Yes.
Yes.
The minutes will stand from the previous meeting being March 24th. Mrs. Higgins, do you have any correspondence this evening?
I do. Okay, during the month of March, the following money was brought in through my office. Licenses and inspections, $9,648.50. From the police department for parking tickets and report, $165. Recorder of deeds, $4,601.10. From the police department, raffle donations through Roman, $1,026. Parkside Terrace parking permits, $50. Pennsylvania 2021 liquid fuels, $54,056.20. And from the Treasurer of Delaware County for a sheriff's sale, $973.90. Under tax collection, the Borough Tax Collector Ed Fisher, $383,408.38. The Tax Claim Bureau, $1,133.46. And from District Court, $576.52 for a total income of March of $455,639.06. I have a request here from the Aston Public Library. They would like a donation. Are we interested in giving them a donation?
I believe we do that every year, and I think it's $100.
I'll make that motion. Yes.
Who seconded it? Eric?
Eric. Any questions on the motion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
All those opposed? So moved.
Okay. I have another letter here. And it is, Dear Council President Shirley Percival and Borough Council members, please accept this email notification as my intent to resign from the position of newsletter editor for the Borough of Parkside. Due to personal reasons, I can no longer serve in this role effective immediately. Thank you for the opportunity, Todd Bennett.
I'm sorry to see Mr. Bennett leave,
Absolutely.
though I understand his personal issues and still hold him quite highly in respect with all the good work he's done for the borough. I would ask that if anybody's interested in this position, I will do a brief synopsis. If the persons that are interested, they would send a resume to the Borough Hall. The qualifications would be to produce a newsletter twice a year. The next one will be summer, fall, and then we have winter, spring. The issues, newsletters that are produced would be reviewed by the President and Vice President of the Council and Mrs. Higgins, which has been since the beginning. That person would also, once it's at the printer, obtain it from the printer and deposit it back at the Borough Hall. And this is for a fee of $500 an issue. So if anybody is interested, a resume of qualifications can be sent to the Borough office. Mrs. Higgins, do you have anything else?
I do. We received a letter. It says, hello, 2020 round PICO Green Region Grant Award recipients. Congratulations on your projects being selected for funding from this program. Just a friendly note to let you know that your award notification letters, complete with checks, went out in the mail today, and we did receive them. So you should see them soon. The letters were addressed to the contact name and address provided on the grant application. Please let me know if you have not received your award notification packet in a timely manner, bearing in mind the frequent delays we're all experiencing with the U.S. Postal Service these days. If you should need your award letter sooner for any reason, such as other grant applications or deadlines approaching, please let me know. And that's all I have.
Thank you.
Wasn't there correspondence from Matt Saunders and Ashley Roberts?
Mr. Sidlow, those two correspondents had no governmental questions in. They were political platforms, accusatory, and they were basically a political issue in which to vote in November for the Democrats. There were no governmental issues or questions such as what's the budget figure on something? Are we fixing a pothole? My street light is out. When does the road program begin? They were strictly political, and we have already stated that we don't do political. We are here to work with the government of this borough.
Well, the community has no way to communicate with this council and make their notices public. They have no public comment period like other municipalities do on Zoom, and they can't send emails and letters into the community. So this continues to be a violation of the Sunshine Act in this community.
You are talking two different things. You're talking apples and oranges. I read the letters, both of them, numerous times to see if there was a governmental question. If you would like, I can pull out Mrs. Nicole Roberts, Ashley Nicole Roberts, who is, may I add, running on the Democratic ticket for mayor, and her constant.
She's also a constituent who's able to voice her opinion in governmental format.
It's too early.
Yeah, I know. You don't want to be interrupted. It's okay.
It's too early to be interrupted. Let me say that I've read this twice. I see it as a political statement, as most of us do. There are no governmental questions. We have set precedent many times, many years at the beginning of 2020. We are not here to be slandered. We are not here for personal attacks. We are here to run the business, and this is a business of the government.
We're also here to hear the voices of the citizens.
It's a political attack. It's not a governmental question. And maybe Mr.
I don't know. It seemed like a letter in support of me, not a letter of attack.
Excuse me. Maybe Mr. Wills would like to clarify, since you continually interrupt tonight. Mr. Wills, can you clarify? Maybe I'm not stating this correctly.
Last month, I had forwarded to Borough Council some guidelines and recommendations on the public submission of written comments or questions to Borough Council. I believe it is the considered opinion of the majority of Borough Council that those two letters that have been referred to do not meet the standards that we had, or at least I had recommended, and some guidance on the letters that would be publicly read into the record. Now, those letters are still available at the Public Municipal Building. They will remain on file. If anybody would like to read them or ask for an open records request, they are certainly part of the official records of the borough.
Thank you. If no one has Mr. Wills's March 3rd email that was more confidential communication concerning public submission of written communication, please let me know. I will forward to you. It is specific to our guidelines and what is considered under the Sunshine Act, what is permissible under the Sunshine Act, and legitimate, constructive questions and concerns. And I can go through this in detail, but again, if you do not have or did not keep the March 3rd communication from our solicitor concerning the Sunshine Act and what constitutes a violation, what does not, please let me know and I will forward it to you.
Council President.
Yes, ma'am.
So what is the, if people were attending meetings and standing up and making public comment in the meetings, we would not be able to know what they were going to say ahead of time. So why are we able to censor what they're saying ahead of time because they're emails? And why aren't we allowing public participation in the meeting so that they can watch it real time and publicly comment during the appropriate times?
Well, we've gone through this numerous times, but let me start with number one. If we had already drawn a line in the sand last summer stating that negativity, negative comments, slamming an elected official, no matter what their political persuasion may be, was not going to be permitted.
Yeah, that's only done by members of council.
I'm sorry, Mr. Sidlow, would you please, for the second time, not or third time, not interrupt? I'm trying to address Mrs. Guy. We had also stated last summer that we were going to stop the negativity in one way or another. If somebody has a governmental question, a concern about the budget, a concern about the road program, streetlights, they're most welcome to ask that. We have also discussed why we are a small borough and we do not have somebody who can bring people in to a Zoom meeting, bring them out with their comments. I'm running a meeting, Mrs. Higgins is taking notes. We all have a specific duty. So other municipalities, and I'll use our neighboring Brookhaven, has the ability with a manager to do this. We do not. And let me also state that some have mentioned that Brookhaven is going live at sometime in May. We are under the governor's law. We are at 25% capacity, 6-foot distance. 25% capacity equates to 15 people spread out in a room. Our capacity is 61, and we still do not have the ability to go live. Am I hopeful for the end of May when our next session is? I am hopeful. We will wait for Governor Wolf's decision. I hope that answered your question, Mrs. Guy. If there's no other questions concerning correspondence, we will move on to the mayor's report.
Thank you, Madam President. Pardon me. Police report for March 1st, 2021, March 31st, 2021, were 6 crimes reported. Of those 6, 3 were thefts, 1 was a disorderly conduct, 1 was a DUI, and 1 was a fraud. The police department answered 148 calls for service, 8 suspicious persons, 8 medical emergencies, 33 assists to other agencies, 7 public service calls. There were no automobile accidents. Police officers made 34 traffic stops and wrote 10 citations. Chief, you have any comments or anything to speak tonight?
Yeah, the only thing that I would, pardon me, the only thing that I would add to that is we are moving forward with the accreditation process. We met today to go over the first chapter of the policy manual. That will be rolled out next week. We're going to do this in stages, and hopefully by the end of summer, we will have all 5 chapters rolled out. By the 1st of September. We can put the policy manual in effect and then continue on with the accreditation process from there. So we're making very good progress so far.
Thank you, Chief. Good job. That's all I have, Madam President.
Mayor, how are we coming along with the scholarship for a senior at Sun Valley?
You know, I have not heard anything back from the school district. As I recall last year, because of the COVID, they opted not to do it. And I'm wondering if they are going to take the same tack this year. I can get in touch with the contact at the school district tomorrow and find out.
I know we have several seniors in the borough.
Yes.
And, hopefully, you know, they will apply and we could sort through those applications.
Okay.
Any questions for the mayor? Mrs. Higgins, did anybody send an agenda item information to you?
No, sir. No, ma'am, but they did not.
Super. We will move on to the president's report. I would like to note that the Auditor General has reviewed and approved our Act 205 report. Thank you very much, Mr. Fasani, for all your help on that. I'd also like to thank Councilman Capabianco for spraying our building police cars for the virus. He has now saved us over $4,500. And he has also touched up the parking lines in front of the building in case anybody has noticed. And tonight has stated he's repaired all the plumbing in the 2 men's room, saving us money for a plumber and hopefully on our water bill. During a recent power outage, we had an amazing amount of help from our mayor, Rob Powers, and Councilman Capabianco to keep the motorists safe on Edgemont Avenue. I understand that we will be purchasing or have purchased flashers so that when or if the power should go out on Edgemont Avenue at the traffic area, we will be able to see our first responders. The necessary forms have been filed and sent to the county for the county aid, and also forms have been filled out and signed for the PennDOT, which I believe we will be voting on tonight. I'm sure everybody had heard we have gotten $5,000 for our Green Region grant, and a video concerning our project has been requested. I have asked Mayor Dietman, since the War Memorial is close to his heart, if he would do this video so that we have that on record. Ms. Catania was unable to do it because of a speaking engagement, so we have asked the mayor to do that. I'm hoping that everybody has seen the new law that Governor Wolf has put in concerning PA move over law. It became effective yesterday. And also a letter on the council's behalf has been sent to the governor's office of budget regarding an RACP grant to improve the county's 911 radio system. I also want to thank the chief for him supporting this action and sending a letter on behalf of the police department, and also bringing this to my attention so that we may also follow up with a letter of recommendation so that hopefully the grant will come through and it be sent to improve our 911 center. And that's all I have. And unless anybody has any questions, we can move on. Police and Public Safety, Councilman Capabianco.
Thank you, Madam President. All the police vehicles have underwent their general maintenance for the month. For April code violations, the car wash was graffiti on the walls down there. I had called them up and they painted all the graffiti also. That's been resolved. There was one swimming pool issue with stagnant water. That has been resolved. I also attended a court hearing last 2 Fridays ago for the PICO and their subcontractors, Miller Brothers. They were found guilty for not getting their permits. So the reason why you're not seeing Miller Brothers or PICO walking in Parkside is because now they're in the penalty phase. They have to pay that penalty phase before they start any work inside of Parkside. That's all I have for public safety.
And Councilman, would you correct me if I was wrong? We already ordered flashers for first responders?
Yes, we had ordered flashers because the night that we had that power outage, it was Rob, myself, and the mayor. And I stayed on scene because I was a little afraid of the mayor being out there because it was pitch dark and you could not see him. Even with all his safety gear on, people were still whizzing by him. I do believe our laws is if you have your single lights out, you need to stop at every intersection. That's what I believe. I'm not sure if that's correct or not, but they were whizzing by him, and it's not good for the mayor to be out there with no lights up there. So that's why I had suggested, and I asked you about it. It's just to get these red blinking lights up there so people know there are stop signs there now, and please stop before there's an accident.
Thank you.
I'd like to move on to Public Works, if I may.
Please.
For Public Works, the Borough building was sanitized along with the police vehicles, saving up to $1,000, fixing the leaks in the toilets in the police building. I had Rob Powers, who was driving the fire truck today, and Ryan to block Edgemont Avenue so we could do the crosswalk for the children, them white lines out there. You got that. And the second thing is, I had talked to our roadmaster Ryan about putting the speed bumps down this year. We're still in discussion about that because we still need the manpower and the equipment. So it's not definitely that we're not going to put them down, but it's in discussion. So I hope when the residents watch this video, it's not like we're not putting them down, but it's in discussion. So we're trying to make some progress on this. Other than that, that's all I know I got to make some motions
You have
here.
2 motions.
So the road program, I got a letter from Lisa Catania for the road program, and it says, we have tabulated the bids received on April 15, 2021 for the above referenced project, which is the road project. 5 bids were received with base bid ranging from $55,434 to $58,254, and alternate bids ranging from $9,000 $208 to $9,678. She says she would recommend the award to Gresher Construction, Inc. At 565 East St. Andrews Drive, Media, with their base bid and alternate price of $64,643.20. So I'd like to make a motion to award this bid to Gresher Construction.
Do I have a second on the motion?
I second it.
Any questions on the motion?
I continue to believe we should be replacing streetlights instead of moving forward with this road program. I also think that the road program was really brought upon us, and there was, in the previous meeting, there was no information provided to us about what roads were under consideration.
That's not true.
We really, everything was in public. There was nothing provided to us about this road program prior to the previous meeting. And if I had not requested it in about a week ago, I don't know when we would have received the information that we have about the road program.
Madam President, I'd like to speak upon that. Last month, Councilman Sidlow had asked me when I brought this up to put it out for the bids, and I gave him the streets at the last council meeting. So
sure, it was announced at the meeting. I would have appreciated it if we had information provided to us in writing prior to the meeting, so we knew what we were considering.
We talked about this in February. Having my notes, I don't know, Mr. Sidlow, if you keep notes meeting from meeting to meeting. In March, we also discussed which roads. I specifically said that all the roads in the borough tallied up to almost $200,000.
Yeah, that's always the total. It's we never do the whole total.
Of course not. We don't have the funds.
No.
And
also, the roads in the borough don't all need to be paved.
Are you finished interrupting me for the 5th time? Because I'm going to start counting.
Listen, our relationship changed significantly at the last meeting, and how I conduct myself in this meeting is going to be how I conduct it.
Discussed it at an open meeting with what roads were in dire need versus what could wait until another project. So and then we received an email, and I may be quoting Miss Catania wrong, but she had not had time to send everything to everyone. And that was sent out at the beginning of the week. You have had Monday, Tuesday, and this morning to review those estimates.
I have reviewed the estimates thoroughly. I've also driven the streets.
Interested, you could have attended a virtual bid meeting, which was legally advertised. Now,
okay, it was legally advertised, but no email was sent out to the council.
Do you have a question on the motion? Not an accusation, not anything other than that. Do you have a question on the road program? Which roads, which we have discussed, this is the 3rd month, February, March, April. Do you have a specific question on the bid to go out to this company for $64,643?
I have just a clarification question, if I may.
Please.
I know we have the base bid and the alternate item. What is classified under the alternate item part of the bid?
Ms. Catania, would you like to clarify that for our newer members, please?
So typically what we've done, we have a specific budget from liquid fuels that we're going to be utilizing. So I provided a list of streets. A few years ago, we went through the entire borough, did a evaluation of each one of the roads from 1 to 5, 1 being it needed to be done immediately. It was a priority project. Based on the budget, we obviously could not do all of the projects. So we had an initial list. That initial list was about $199,000. From that list, I believe it was in the March meeting, we determine specific streets that were going to be completed.
Mhm.
When we bid a project through the liquid fuels program, if we don't have that particular street on the list, if it's not bid, we cannot add something later. That's because it's PennDOT funding that we're utilizing. So we typically, if we are on the cusp of what that amount would, budget amount would be, maximum budget, we'll put an alternate in so that if we have the ability to do that additional street, we're able to do it through the program. So that's what the alternate is. So we are under the $65,000 budget with the alternate included. So we're recommending an award of not only the base bid, which would be the streets that would be done immediately, or would be done if we didn't have the money to finish the alternates. So we're going to do all of the streets that are on that list. Is that clear as mud?
Yes, thank you.
Good, okay.
Thank you, Ms. Catania. I appreciate it.
You're welcome.
There is a motion on the floor to accept the bid for our road program in the amount of $64,643. Does anybody have any other questions? Mrs. Higgins, would you do a roll call vote, please?
Yes, I will. As I find my paperwork. Okay, President Percival,
Aye.
Vice President Bull,
Yes.
Councilman Long,
Yes.
Councilman Capabianco,
Yes.
Councilman Sidlow,
No.
Councilman Swigert,
Yes,
Councilwoman Guy.
Yes.
Thank you.
Thank you. Councilman Capabianco, I know you have another motion this evening. Would you like to continue?
Yes, I'd like to make a motion to adopt resolution 1833. This is an application for County A, and also to authorize the application for 2021.
I'll second.
Any questions on the motion? Mrs. Higgins, will you do a roll call vote to accept the county aid?
I certainly will. President Percival,
Aye.
Vice President Bull,
Aye.
Councilman Long,
Aye.
Councilman Capabianco,
Aye.
Councilman Swigert,
Yes,
Councilman Sidlow,
Aye.
Councilwoman Guy.
Aye.
Okay, you have a majority.
Super, thank you. Councilman Capabianco, do you have anything else this evening?
No, I'd just like to thank the fire company and Rob Powers again for blocking traffic for us so we can paint those lines on Edgemont Avenue. They're a really big help. Other than that, I can report general progress.
Super, we certainly don't want anybody run over.
Oh, by the way, that paint that we used was left over from 2 years ago. We didn't spend no money on nothing. It was leftover stuff.
That's a wonderful thing, and
Yep.
your time was donated, so it was a win-win.
Yep.
Thank you. Moving on to ordinances, Councilman Schwager.
yes. I have one thing, and that is resolution 1834. It's a resolution declaring May 2nd to the 8th of 2021 as Children's Mental Health Awareness Week. So if you bear with me. Whereas good mental health is a key component in a child's healthy development, and Children's Mental Health Week provides the opportunity to focus on this important matter while celebrating the accomplishments of children and families affected by mental health concerns. And whereas according to the United States Department of Health and Human Services, 1 in 5 children is diagnosed with a mental health condition. And whereas research has shown early identification and appropriate treatment of mental health disorders among children and adolescents provide them better opportunities to lead full and productive lives. And whereas children and youth with mental health challenges and their families benefit from access to timely services and supports that are family-driven, youth-guided, and culturally appropriate. They also benefit from the integration of behavioral health in primary care, education, and child welfare. And whereas it is important that children and adolescents, along with their families and communities, learn about warning signs of mental health disorders and where to obtain necessary assistance and treatment. And whereas obtaining a full and accurate diagnosis of a child requires gathering information from diverse sources, including the family, school, and others involved with the child. And now, therefore, Parkside Borough does hereby proclaim May 2nd to the 8th, 2021 as Children's Mental Health Awareness Week.
Going to make a motion?
I make a motion to adopt Resolution 1834.
I second it.
Any questions on the motion? All those in favor?
Aye.
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 All those opposed? So moved. Do you have anything else, Councilman?
No, for ordinances, I can just report general progress from there.
Super. License and inspections, Councilman Long.
Thank you, President. First of all, I'm going to make this easy. I unfortunately accidentally deleted my license report.
Yeah.
That's what I was looking for while we were in the beginning of the meeting. So, sorry about that. But we had lots of permits were issued between electrical and building residential.
Eric, I can step up for you. I know them all by heart. You had 7 UNOs and 3 re-inspections.
There
Thank
you
you,
go.
Nick.
All right.
Councilman Long, I see you under unfinished business, so we'll just wait until we get to that.
Okay.
All right, super. Thank you so much, and thank you, Councilman Capabianco. Emergency management, did Mr. Powers leave any type of report?
No.
Okay, no health report other than we were all excited that Mr. Softy Truck is in the borough.
Yes.
He has been inspected. He has informed me when he stopped on this street, he will be around approximately 3 times a week. And as far as I know, everybody is very happy to see a Mr. Softy Truck. And Rob did inspect that vehicle. Finance report, Vice President Bull.
Thank you, Madam President. I would like to make a motion to accept the treasurer's report.
Second.
Any questions on the motion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
All those opposed? So moved.
Thank you, Madam President. I would like to make a motion to pay the bills.
Second.
Any questions on the motion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
All those opposed? So moved. Would you like to move on to the woodlot, Vice President?
Yes, thank you. I have to report partial general progress, but I did do an assessment of some trees that are in decline based on an infestation of emerald ash borer. What I'd like to do is wait until the leaf set takes place in the next couple of weeks to report back to council on the percentage of decline and come up with a work plan from there. So I'm hoping that they haven't succumbed to the disease or to the pest, but it didn't look promising when I went down to the woodlot a couple weeks ago. And with that, I will report general progress.
Super. And I thank you so much for being in a parking lot to enjoy and entertain our council meeting tonight. Thank you. I know you just come from a seminar. Does anybody have any questions for the Vice President tonight? Moving on to recreation, Councilman Schweiger.
Just kind of looking ahead to our 4th of July, looking for council's input on should we move ahead with plans for the 4th of July or just make our next event the community day, which is usually in September.
I personally think because we're limited funds that a smaller community day and hopefully by Christmas we'll be able to do an indoor Christmas event. Council, what's everybody's thoughts?
I'll go with that.
I'm good with that, but if they do ease restrictions, it might be nice to get the community together, just being fiscally responsible.
With that, I'm just going to report general progress for right now then. Thank you.
I would suggest that everybody think about it. Mr. Wills keeps abreast of the changes that Governor Wolf hands down as far as inside and outside activity and capacities. So we still have a meeting at the end of May. That would give us at least a month and a half to put it together. So I would ask that all council think about what they want to do about the first event, which would be the 4th of July.
I can say, Councilman Swire, that 4th of July is relatively inexpensive. It's basically hot dogs and chips. So, I mean, you could probably put something together at the last minute if you wanted to. The only biggest problem that I ran into was the heat. That a lot of people did not show up because it's usually 95 degrees and there's no shelter outside. The one year I did rent tables, but unfortunately that rental place no longer rents the tables, the umbrella tables. So that's just something to think about.
And we had a water sprayer too, didn't we, 2 years ago?
Yes, that was 2 years ago. I got from Amazon. I bought 2 balloons. They were like $20 each. You just hook up to a hose and water squirts out all over. And we shut down East Elbon at the time. I believe, in fact, you and your wife provided the beverages.
Yes.
If anything, we just leave the kids home and bring the adults out.
Good idea. I would request everybody think about it. Our next meeting is towards the end of May, which still gives us plenty of time to plan a small event. Mrs. Higgins, would you put that under Councilman Schwager's agenda for next month?
Certainly.
Moving on to recycling, the MS report, Councilman Capabianco.
Thank you, Madam President, for the trash collection for the month. There's 106 tons, and recycling was 5.90 of tons. I also like to remind the residents that Friday is the bulk trash, only 3 items. Our trash collector has been complaining about picking up bulk items on Tuesday morning, which he doesn't have to pick up because it's only on Friday. So I like to remind the residents that, it's only on Friday with 3 bulk items, not Tuesdays. Other than that, I have report general progress.
Super, thank you so much. And I hope the residents adhere to that. Moving on to the tax collector's report. Did Mr. Fisher leave a report or money?
He did. The treasurer has all the money.
Oh, good.
Yes, he says the treasurer has received a total of $865,377.20 to date. There was a total of $247,721.36 in revenue deposits from April 2nd to April 12th. That's that.
Super, thank you. The engineer's report, Ms. Catania.
I think most of my reports already been taken care of this evening. The contractor that is going to be doing the road program is Gessler Construction. They have been in business for probably 40 plus years. So we're hopeful. Sorry to see that AF Damon, who's our neighbor, isn't back again, but.
Yeah, that was a surprise.
Yeah, well, I don't know. I did want to mention, however, that we have not yet received the notification from the county that we can move forward with the lighting project. I do have the plans and specifications ready. So once I get that, what they call the ERR, notice to proceed, I'll be able to forward those to the county and we'll get them out to bid as soon as we can. Prices are rising, as everyone is very well aware. I'm hearing that aluminum has just gone up, stone has just gone up, and transportation, any of the shipping costs have gone up. So we want to make sure that we're getting them in before it gets any higher. And that's all I have this evening, unless anyone has any questions.
Do we know why the ERR notice has not been sent?
Last we spoke, I actually got 2 this week for other municipalities. So I'm assuming that they are starting to come in. Megan Swider from OHCD had noted that She expected them either late March, early April from HUD. So I'm just thinking that because of COVID, that things are, schedules aren't being as efficient as they have been in the past.
All right, thank you. Does anybody else have any other questions for the engineer?
Yes, I have a couple of questions. So, it's my understanding that there's 3 municipalities in Delaware County that are changing out their streetlights this year. Eddystone, Chester, and there's a third one, and I forgot what municipality that was. So, am I correct, Ms. Catania, that you're the engineer in Eddystone?
I am, yes.
Okay. Can you explain how Eddystone has figured out how to change the streetlights to LED?
There's a couple
Maybe
different
because they have more money than we do.
Well, there's a couple different programs. DVRPC runs a program. As a matter of fact, there's a third phase that they are proposing in September. Currently, I believe, I don't know when County Council's meeting this week, I believe, next week. County Council is supposed to be entertaining a low interest loan application to the Delaware Valley Finance Authority. So they would, just as we do with a lot of the grants, the county will actually be doing agreements with municipalities for loans at a lower rate than what you could get in at a bank, etc. From what I understand, DVRPC will be administering that particular grant. They also have solicited proposals for the energy company that is being utilized. So I have a fact sheet on that particular one. I believe a while back I had suggested to you, there is a company that had reached out to me a while back, ESG, who does, for nothing, they will do a survey based on your invoices and come up with a proposal for cost savings for streetlights, traffic signals, other things that could be done, interior lighting, even as much as any capital project that may be considered an energy grant or an energy conservation project, not a grant, excuse me. I don't know that we took them up on that offer, but that is a second way to do it. They are under co-stars. As a matter of fact, many of the energy conservation companies are now under co-stars contract. So we don't even have to go out to bid. In that situation, that particular company provides all of the engineering, all of the contracts, the materials, and obviously there's a cost to that. You would have to come up with a loan or funding for the project, and that's how they're doing it.
And that's how Eddystone is paying for it?
Eddystone right now is up in the air because they were in phase 2. So depending on whether, right now the funding is the question. They're finished the design at this point. Whether they have to go out on their own to get the funding, or they can utilize what the county council may be doing shortly, that's still up in the air. So right now I don't know how it's going to be funded. It had talked about potentially using some portion of liquid fuels, but we haven't gone to PennDOT for that as of yet, for the mere fact we're not sure how that's going to be funded.
Okay. I'm very interested as a council member moving forward with replacing the streetlights, and I'm asking for your help to develop programs and develop a plan for how we do that.
Mr. Sidlow, I know, and I think everybody knows, how you feel about streetlights. We have talked about this for 16 months. And the consensus of the majority of council feel that our road program being paid for and approved by PennDOT is more efficient to the residents than the transfer over of the majority of our streetlights, which again, and I'm not sure if you keep notes on minutes of what we're doing council meeting to council meeting, but it was noted, and it has been noted, that when a light burns out, we change it over to an LED for a cost of $432. We do not have the financial ability, nor can you compare the city of Chester or Eddystone financially with the Borough of Parkside's finances. We would not qualify for a loan. We have 2 outstanding loans right now, which I'm hoping you are aware of. And we, of course, would look for free money, but I don't believe when you say loan, it's free money. So I, again, would reiterate, and I think council as majority has again said that our residents seem to prefer a road program versus streetlights. So my suggestion to you, Mr. Sidlow, is to, why don't you do some research on free grant money? No matches, because we have no money to match it. It's an unbudgeted item for this year. But why don't you do the research? And therefore, we will not be, and no offense, Ms. Catania, we will not be charged for our engineer to do research in which you, Mr. Sidlow, may do through your business associates or the availability of the internet to look for free money, grant money, that is a non-payable, non-match, no loan. And that would be my suggestion.
Well, priorities may change as time moves forward.
You betcha. I always say that. Does anybody have any other questions for the engineer? If not, we will move on to our solicitor's report.
Thank you, Madam President, and good evening, everyone. At our February monthly meeting, we had a representative of Delcor speak to us about amending the borough's service agreement with Delcor that would effectively assign the agreement to Aqua and change the setting of rates to be done through a PUC-approved tariff for Aqua. Now, Delcor has advised us that the amendment would only take effect upon approval by the PUC and subsequent closing of the sale to Aqua. At the February meeting, Borough Council agreed to table any action on the service agreement for a period of 2 months to allow time for the PUC to issue a ruling on the proposed sale of Delcor to Aqua. The PUC has still not taken any action on this merger, and therefore the borough may wish to defer indefinitely taking any action on the service agreement until the PUC issues its ruling on this matter. And so I leave it to Borough Council's certainly best judgment on this issue.
Is it my understanding that there is open litigation still concerning this matter?
There is some litigation that is up on appeal. That is correct. And again, there is an outstanding matter for the PUC. So there's a number of communities here in Delaware County that have deferred taking any action on amending the service agreement until those 2 items are cleared up and we have a little bit better direction on where this potential merger between Delcor and Aqua are going.
Then I would entertain a motion to postpone this service agreement approval for 2 more months. And at that time, we may have some direction from the PUC, and also litigation may be settled one way or another. Does anybody wish to make a motion to that effect?
So moved.
Who what?
I heard Mr. Schwager, and I'm not sure who the second was.
I'll second that.
Mr. Councilman Long. Any questions on the motion?
I think we should vote and vote down agreeing to the transfer to Aqua. So we should make a statement to the voters of Parkside as well as to the other municipalities in Delaware County that selling of a public asset to a private company is not in the best interests of Parkside residents and their bills. And so I think we should vote now, and I think we should vote no.
Mr. Schwager, I'm sorry, Mr. Sidlow, again, if you look back on your councilmanic notes, we have sent a letter to the necessary persons involved that we do not necessarily support this. The motion on the floor is to table this service agreement until appeal and PUC decisions have been made, and table the decision for 2 months. That's the motion on the table. Does anybody else have any other questions?
Could I make a motion to amend to table it indefinitely, just so we don't go through until they have some movement?
Would you like to amend the motion, Vice President?
Yes, Madam President, I would like to amend the motion to table this indefinitely, to be revisited as things change.
I second.
Thank you. Mrs. Higgins, would you do a roll call vote to table this indefinitely until the service agreement has been brought up and through the appeal, the litigation, and the PUC issues?
Okay, Councilman Sidlow,
No.
Councilwoman Guy,
Yes.
Councilman Swager,
Yes.
Councilman Long,
Yes.
Councilman Capabianco,
Yes.
Vice President Bull,
Yes.
President Percival.
Yes.
Motion carries.
Then I will rely on our solicitor to inform us once the PUC has made their decision on the service agreement, and also once litigation that is pending is settled. Mr. Wells, if you would keep council apprised as to when this all comes together.
I will so advise Delcor of Borough Council's considered position in this matter.
Thank you.
Other than that, Madam President, I can report general progress.
Thank you. Does anybody have any questions for the solicitor? Moving on, Mrs. Higgins, did anybody send us any letters concerning governmental issues under?
No.
No.
None.
Unfinished business. Councilman Long, I hope the captain need your report.
Yes, we're talking about the Hometown Hero Program.
Yes.
Well, as of today, I have received 15 applications.
Yay.
Monies have been paid for. The money has been turned over to Mr. Pacenti. He made an account for us. We need at least 20 to keep the costs down. We're extending it because Brookhaven, who has graciously offered to hang the banners for us, their truck that they've ordered won't be in until August now. So we're going to extend it, so give people more time.
What's the expiration date on getting an application in?
I'm going to say, let's go with July 1st, because I have to wait to hear back from Brookhaven to see when they plan to get their truck. And that cost has been figured into the cost of Brookhaven doing it, was put into the cost of hanging the banners, which was a huge significant savings from the company who was going to do it. But I met with one family. I happened to stop in the office to collect them, and they were just thrilled. They were waiting for this to happen. And she actually came in with her 2 daughters to do this.
I have another one came in today.
Oh, great. Okay. Thank you. But I really think, I know I have to put one in for Todd and one for my stepfather. I know we have others that plan to put it in. So I think we'll meet it, but it's just getting the funds into it. But if we don't have 20, then the cost goes up. And I hate to have to put out emails to those that put in and say, we need to pony up some more money.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah. So
It's a wonderful program, and I truly thank you and the committee. And have our residents participate is very important. You and I, Councilman Long, were at an event this past weekend in which one of the residents came up to you to discuss it. And
Yes.
thanked you so much because her father has been a longtime resident here who is deceased.
Mhm.
And she was just totally thrilled.
I mean, I know some people have asked to have the banner put on their street. At this time, we're not going to do that. I want to make that clear. Once we fill the avenue up with the flags, then we will start proceeding going onto the other streets. But I just want to make it look good coming down from Brookhaven up on that. We just continue down the avenue to Chester's border. And then go, and then we can start, if we get more, then we can start going off to the side streets. So I just don't want 5 here, 2 over here, 2 over there. It just doesn't look good.
Eric, I know I can get us a bucket truck if we need it. I would just need help with traffic control.
Okay, thank you.
And I know I can get it donated or I can cover it.
Okay, great. Well, thank you. I appreciate that. The only concern I have is that Brookhaven's crew, they were trained on how to hang them because the previous company that was doing it, quite a few of the banners had fallen down. And so they went to, I don't know if they went to a class or I don't know what they did, but they're securing it with now two screws or some bands, I think they're called. But I mean, I could talk to Brookhaven, Mr. Bull, and talk to them and see if that can be shown for you to do it or whoever. Because that would be a huge savings.
Just offering.
Okay, thank
Whatever
you. I really appreciate it.
We appreciate the committee. It really is a wonderful program for
Yeah, the committee's done a great job of advertising.
Yes. Does anyone have any questions for Mr. Councilman Long? And do you have anything else, Councilman?
I don't think so.
Any questions concerning the program?
I think you tell Eric, I'm sure I can help out with the traffic, and I'm sure, I'm not speaking for Rob Powers, but I know he would get the fire truck out there if we do need Doug's help with the bucket truck. So I will offer my time to do traffic control.
Okay, great. Thank you. I appreciate that.
Any other questions or comments concerning the Hometown Hero program? Moving on, under new business, I understand Mr. Sidlow has something this evening under new business. Ouch.
Okay, so I'm going to make a motion and I'm going to explain it. So I'd like to move that the Borough of Parkside hire a human resources consultant for up to $1,500 to help the borough develop a standard of conduct, a formal complaint process, an investigation process, and a resolution process to deal with issues of concern regarding the actions of the members of the Borough Council or employees of the borough. So since I have been on council, there have been 3, call it situations involving a member of council, and there has been no process, no procedure, no rules to determine if something is appropriate or not appropriate. All we have is President Percival's higher standard, which doesn't really exist. We don't have a way of investigating a situation. We don't have a way of resolving or coming up with a conflict. We have a citizen, Dylan Reeves, who has written multiple emails to this borough and has had an article published in the letter to the editor of the Daily Times. And he feels very strongly about this matter. And quite frankly, based on the way I was treated at the last meeting and the lead up to the last meeting, was completely inappropriate. And there needs to be some kind of process that exists instead of just some vague higher standard that nobody knows what that means. So I'll read my motion again. I move that the Borough of Parkside hire a human resources consultant for up to $1,500 to help the borough develop standards of conduct, the formal complaint process, an investigation process, and a resolution process to deal with issues of concern regarding the actions of the members of Borough Council or employees of the borough.
Good question.
May I interrupt for a second? I don't know, Mr. Sidlow, if you you probably don't know, I met with Mr. Reed last month at the Borough Hall. And we spoke for approximately 2.5 hours that night. And I felt that it was necessary that I reach out to him, since that when he sent the email to council about me, and as I explained, I did not respond because I became sick and I forgot about it. So when he wrote it again, I responded. And then apparently when I responded, I think that was the email that I read, if not mistaken, last month, when you and Mrs. Guy was so determined to have an email read that you did not even check your email to show that I had responded to Mr. Reeves. And then Mr. Reeves then took it to the paper. And that's when I reached out to him and said, perhaps it's time that you and I meet face to face and we can discuss the matter, which he agreed to. We met, we talked. I explained to him, because he's only been a resident for a little over 2 years. And I explained to him how all this animosity started in this borough over trash. Believe it or not, it was trash. And I told him about the Facebook page that Mr. Coleman had, and how unfactual material was put in there, and then how Anna Guy created a Facebook page. Then we had a Facebook page that a resident had created, and still that was not enough for you people, that you felt that it had to be litigation if some people were not given control over Facebook. So that was taken away. So now the borough is down to Mrs. Guy's unfactual information that's being put out. Maybe basically it's for a few residents to just pitch. So I explained to him what was going on. He had asked, and I do agree with him, we are all elected officials. So we all have a right to talk and to express our opinions and not be slandered or bullied. But I'm showing that this meeting will shows that the animosity that there is. Now I'm sitting here, I'm trying to be as professional as I can. I just want to let you know that I did meet with him. So your information is wrong. And I explained to him what was going on. And I explained that I would talk to Mrs. Percival about our meeting, which I did. So I do believe that we all need to act in a more professional way. We are all elected officials. And as for me, for what I said back in November, most people accept an apology, which I did. If you and some of your others can't accept it, that's on you. I explained to Mrs. Percival.
I'm not asking anybody to not accept
and I've been in the paper.
apology.
You and your people have made sure that I was put into the paper at least 3 times. I don't know. I mean, it's fine. Go ahead. I mean, do what you want to do. If it makes you happy, that's fine. But I did apologize. I said what I said, and I do stand by what I said to Mrs. Guy. Why does she keep on wanting to go litigation against the borough? And this is, I mean, what has she done for the borough other than create problems, put me in the paper?
All right, this is not relevant to my motion.
Well, I'm just saying, if you want a human resources, then that human resource person is going to make their money just between you and Mrs. Guy on council, between what's going on.
All they need to do is create some
let's
standards.
She's swallowing air. You're ready to say something.
Mr. Sidlow, I did not hear a second to your motion because I have numerous questions. Is there a second to Mr. Sidlow's motion?
I would like to ask you a question.
Mr. Hold on, Vice President. I don't have a second to the motion.
I second the motion.
Okay. Questions on the motion? Vice President, go ahead, because I know you're in a parking lot.
Like south of Baltimore, hoping to get home tonight. Is Beneserv still our insurance representative for our health insurance?
Yes.
They have an employee health human resources portal. They are also our provider at the company I work for. It is very useful. They call me HR Doug now. I've reviewed a lot of the things that would fall under perhaps the guise of what we're discussing. And I don't think it is money well spent to solve the issues that we have. We can also access the portal because we are entitled to it as a customer of Beneserv.
Correct.
But that's health related issues. I'm not talking about health related issues.
Excuse me, Mr. Sidlow.
There's 470 training modules on human resources. I'm sorry, it's not health insurance.
Okay.
Mr. Sidlow, again, if you would check your councilmatic notes from way back, and I do have mine handy from December 5th, this subject was brought up, and I will tell you that I have the information that I had talked to a human resource consultant that Mr. Wills recommended. She had 35 years in government, not only as a consultant, but as an elected official. When I explained the situation to her and we discussed a code of conduct manual and other issues that you've brought up, she felt that as elected officials, we have no ability to be able to impose penalties or terminate an elected official or have a financial fine for an elected official. And her cost, and I won't mention this outright because I have not talked to her to see if this has also gone up. But in this email, even Mrs. Guy responded that she agreed it was a waste of money to develop a code of conduct if it is not evenly applied. Now, I would like to also state, and this goes back several months, and we're in April and we're still talking about November issues, that we are under, and I hate to
Oh, yeah, you're under a strict, no spending guideline. We can't afford $1,500
Would you, this is the 7th time you've interrupted me tonight. Under questions on the motion, I have the right to ask these things. We are under state and federal guidelines. I will only give you a few. Title 7, Title 6. Would you like me to explain what those are to you? We are under employees' rights laws, ethic and public laws, rules of professional conduct rules that have been upheld, and I just reviewed this, upheld by the Supreme Court of Pennsylvania. We have standard of conduct laws. The Office of the Governor's Ethics has a series of laws that are available to us. This does not discount the municipal code, the borough's municipal code. And I can go on, and I have stated this since last year, that I don't believe to spend this type of money when federal and state laws are available to us to prevail, to spend a tax dollars. Now, my question to you is, there was an incident today in which you were critical of a part-time employee. If we had a conduct code, what would the penalty be for an elected official to criticize a part-time employee? And how do you impose that penalty? Is it a fine? Do we ask you to excuse yourself for a meeting, which we know you're not going to do? There's no end result to doing this.
Sure, there may not be an end result, but there are standards and there is a process that is followed. If there's an issue, there's procedures, there's an investigative process, okay? Not someone getting pulled into an office without being told what the meeting is about, or being ambushed with hidden information and there's no process for how that information was received. It was anonymously received. Like, there's a lot more than just the end result of the penalty that's imposed. There's also a process to determine if something's wrong, if somebody should appear on the cover of the Daily Times or not, or if Channel 29 should be called or not.
All right, Mr. Sidlow, you're going off topic. The issue and the question I had under questions under motion is, there is no way to be able to institute an end result. And when a council member criticized through written criticism of a part-time employee, what should be the end result? And do you understand?
Let's hire a human resources consultant to help us figure out that process.
Do you understand what Title 7 is? Do you understand what Title 6 is? Do you understand what the employees' rights laws are? Do you understand what the ethic and?
No, that's why I'm suggesting we hire a human resources consultant to sort it all out
You
for us.
cannot review those laws on your own time, so we should spend the tax dollars. I have
We're
reviewed,
not talking about a large sum of money here. We're talking about
I have
$1,500.
reviewed these laws. Why have you not taken the time to learn the state and federal laws that govern us? Are you that busy with your employment that you cannot take a weekend to review the laws, the state and federal laws that govern us? I'm asking you a specific question. I have given you about 10 different laws that govern us as municipal elected officials.
I'll get right on that.
Thank you.
I'll spend time on that this weekend.
We have a motion on the floor. We have a second. And I will ask Mrs. Higgins for a roll call vote. And the motion is, if I am correct, Mr. Sidlow, to hire a human resource consultant for $1,500.
Councilman Sidlow,
Aye.
Councilwoman Guy,
Aye.
Councilman Swiger,
No.
Councilman Long,
No.
Councilman Capabianco,
No.
Councilman Bull,
No.
President Percival.
No. And let me add that I certainly hope that since we've been beating this dead horse since November, that Councilman Sidlow, if you would like any of the laws that I have mentioned, I will be happy to email them to you. And
Love to
hopefully
see them. Thank you very much.
this subject is finished. Does anybody have anything else under new business either? If not, I'll entertain a motion to adjourn this evening.
I just wanted to say real quick that I misspoke. There was 437 topics. Some of them are on cybersecurity and across the board. So I didn't want to be on record as misspeaking, but there is a plethora of information. Thank you, Madam President.
And may I add to the Vice President, we are a member of PSAB. They are a wealth of information and resources. You can Google all the state and local and federal laws that govern us as elected officials. If nobody has anything else, I'll entertain a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Thank you, gentlemen. Thank you,
Thank you.
Mrs. Higgins, Mrs. Guy, and Ms. Catania. Good evening.
Have a good
Night
evening,
all.
everybody.
You too.